giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Can't twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh.
All right, so what do I think about these Wish frames? Well, let's find out, starting with the pros.
You're some kind of butterfly.
So for the first pro, it's got to be the huge H block, especially that wheel bite protection you have. I think it's like 148 millimeters wide. That's like a full 4 fingers. I mean, you're not gonna miss with this kind of H block. I like to equate it to the old man's H block. And I mean, a big reason why I got into these frames in the first place was because of this H block. It's almost like training wheels. You can't miss. It's like a freestyle frame, but you're still riding flat. I love it. Second pro has to be the fact that these things slide really well. I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with the materials that they use, but also the design, because there's a kind of a raised lip around the edge of these things. You're really not grinding across much of the frame. It's just a little bit that's pushing on the frame when you're doing like soul slides and stuff. I think that kind of helps to keep up the speed of the slide on these frames. So the third pro would gotta be the wheelbase for me. These are the Wish Classic chassis. There is a medium chassis, which is a shorter wheelbase for y'all that don't like a longer wheelbase. These are 281 millimeters wide, which is kind of a really good sweet spot for me. I really like that, especially for this type of skating that I do in the park, which is, a lot of pump and bowls and airs and, some coping grinds and whatnot. But yeah, really having that length is awesome for me. What it really does is helps that stability, that fore-aft stability, when I'm launching stuff and landing. If I'm too far forward or too far back, I kind of have a little bit more to, land on and not slip out on, as well as just pumping too. I mean, it's just a great platform to skate on. And the next pro kind of piggybacks on the long frame. The long frame wouldn't be great if this next pro wasn't here, and that's the subtle rocker that you get when you're riding these frames. If you're rocking the correct wheel sizes, you're having like a millimeter, maybe 2 tops, depending on your wheel size, that is really giving you this agile movement, kind of like a rocker wizard setup in an aggressive frame. That's huge for me because I still have all that stability of a long frame, but I don't feel train tracksy because I have that short pivot base under my foot. The next pro, it's got to be the durability on these frames. I mean, usually frames are pretty durable. They're probably one of the most durable things on the skate, depending what kind of skating you're doing. Now, I skate a lot of park, which is, metal handrails, metal angle iron, metal coping, not a lot of, really crunchy, gritty cement that I'm grinding on these things. And these things literally look pretty brand new. And I've been rocking these things for 2 whole years. Now, if you're skating a lot of street where you're just getting gnarly on a bunch of gritty concrete ledges and you know, curbs and whatever, yeah, these would probably go down, but they're still going to hold up really well for what you're doing with them. And the last pro that is just kind of a fun add-on is the fact that they come in multiple colors. I just really like that because then you can really kind of match your frame color to your colorway of your aggressive skate. All right, so that's a lot of pros. Let's check out the cons.
You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me high and dry.
So for that first con, some boots may require modification. And that is because those big wheels, if you're rocking these at the full 72 millimeter wheels in front and back, they won't spin in some boots because the actual wheel peaks above the top of the frame, where the frame attaches to the bottom of the sole plate. So you're just gonna have to Dremel out just a little bit in the toe and the heel of your boot so that wheel can spin freely. A lot of new modern boots are starting to come with little notches out in that place anyways, so that they can accommodate frames like the Wish frame. But yeah, you know, my Oysi skates that I have, these on the M12s, all of those I have to notch out. Really easy to do. It's just take a quick Dremel. It takes all of like 15-20 minutes to Dremel out some notches in your skates. The second con, although not a con to me, it might be a con to a lot of people. It is the wheelbase. That 281 millimeter length is quite a long platform for an aggressive frame. But to that, I say, if the wheelbase is keeping you back from rolling the Wish frames, go check out the medium chassis, which is a smaller setup Wish frame. The next con, and this is the big one for me, it's just the height. This is a tall frame, especially when you're sticking those 72 millimeter wheels on. You're really riding pretty high off the ground, like you have a big wheel frame under your feet. The downside to that is when you're skating, they could feel a little bit less stable back and forth because you're so much higher off the ground. They don't have that lower center of gravity. You know, for stomping landings and whatnot, they just don't feel that way. The other thing too is the H-block, while the H-block does cut in and it's pretty close to your foot, it is still quite far away from your sole, which, you know, when you're doing those Royales or Farfs or, you know, anything you want to get kind of boot down and get your sole plate down on the rail with your H-block, unless you got a really wide sole plate, you're not going to get boot down, or it's going to be very tough. You got to really flex super far down to get boot down and have that stable, you know, triangle, 2 points of contact on your grind. To piggyback on this, the last con, this next con, the frames are a plastic frame, obviously, which means they need to have a thick sidewall, which is very common for all plastic frames on the market. I just feel like this is quite thick of a sidewall, which again, for a narrow, you know, boot with a narrow sole plate and not having much already on to lock onto on those sole grinds and whatnot, it just removes a little more of that sole plate because of that thick sidewall. The next con, it's just kind of more of a pain than a con. It's if you want to roll the exact same wheels all the way across, not all wheels, especially aggressive, come in multiple sizes that are the exact same urethane wheel profile. You know, so if you're really trying to ride the exact same wheel in across the whole entire bottom of your skate, which is ideal, you kind of are limited to what wheels you can throw on this setup because it is a mixed setup. You're rolling 72s on the outside and 60s, I believe, in the center too. So, you know, it's not the biggest issue if you want to just mix and match, which I do. But if you want to rock them, you know, all one kind of wheel, then you're kind of limited. And the last con, like all aggressive frames, so I guess it shouldn't really be a con for this frame, but in my opinion, it is a con. And I think it would be awesome if aggressive frames started adopting the race axle, or, you know, just one Allen key to get the wheels off. You need 2 Allen keys to get these wheels off this frame, just like basically 90% of all other aggressive frames on there. I know like Rollerblade for a while and the TRS made these little like triangles that stuck in one side so they couldn't spin. So all you needed to do was have one Allen key to take off the wheels. That was an amazing design. I would love to see that come back for a lot of aggressive frames, just because, man, I I don't like this double Allen key thing. It's so much nicer when I'm on my urban skates and they're all race axles that just screw straight into the other side of the frame. It's so nice to just have one Allen key on me, just tighten it up as I'm rolling, or to take my wheel off, whatever, just one Allen key, done. But yeah, that's just a con, kind of against the whole aggressive market, but it does plague this frame as well. So who are these frames for? I'm gonna say an aggressive skater of any skill level can really get a lot out of these frames and really enjoy them. Who these frames are not for? Basically just anybody that doesn't aggressive skate. Really, I would recommend these frames to anybody. So for my final thoughts, these have been on my main skates, other than, you know, trying out different stuff, literally since I got them 2.5 years ago. I mean, it's been over 2 years now. So these are my favorite frames, hands down. Being an older, intermediate level aggressive skater, I just love these frames because they allow me to skate fast, like I'm basically on a big wheel frame. They are stable, but they're also maneuverable with that rocker. And the big kicker is they have that huge H-block wheel bite protection area, so that an older, kind of more intermediate level aggressive skater like me isn't worrying so much about, you know, missing the grail by like just a centimeter off or something and getting wheel bite and getting tossed and getting hurt and then basically being out of the game for a few weeks to a month to a year, whatever it is. Like it, I think that one point alone, just allowing me to try new stuff with less risk of hurting myself, is why I'm on these to this day. I mean, I like to skate park a lot. I like to pump bowls, do airs, skate coping. I mean, that's just the kind of aggressive skater that I am. If that sounds a lot like you, or kind of the skater that you want to become, I highly encourage you to check these out because I think you're going to love them. I think that's going to do it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I try to get back to every question on my videos. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys did, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, make sure you're not bell so you miss any of these uploads. And until next time, guys, just keep rolling.